Hey guys, got Tom here again. We've been talking about leucine today and the importance of combining proteins on a plant-based diet. So Tom, talk to me a little bit about protein. I think something that people are worried about when they're kind of following a plant-based diet, but just hit it with a little bit of an overview on all things protein.
Okay, so for a plant-based diet, let's say, first thing they worry about is, am I going to get enough protein? But maybe what people don't think about is, am I going to get enough leucine within that protein as well?
Yeah.
So
what's leucine?
So leucine is an amino acid within that dietary protein, and it's the main driver of muscle growth, or people might know it as MPS, muscle protein synthesis.
Yeah.
We need to consume about 3 grams of leucine in each meal.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we're looking for. That's the key driver. So on a plant-based diet, we just have to be a little bit more thoughtful about where we're getting our proteins from, and are we getting enough leucine in a meal, maybe particularly before and after training.
Yeah. Okay. So we're hitting so leucine is basically the light switch. Okay. It switches muscle protein synthesis on. Now, if we don't have the light bulb in, or it's not connected properly by having the right combination of amino acids, then there will be a slight increase in muscle protein synthesis, but we're not going to be maximizing that. So, we're talking about combining proteins and making sure that we've got everything there. Like, how do we do that? Plant-based, how do we do that?
So we have to think about, we either, let's say, need foods that give us that 3 grams of leucine straight away.
Yeah.
So let's say that could be things like tofu, or we could think about combining plant proteins together. So we bring two or more sources, combining foods together in one meal to give us, that overhaul. Yeah. So we get like full spectrum of the amino acids, as well as potentially, there we're going to increase the type of micronutrients that come with them as well. So we get kind of good bang for your buck, so to speak.
Yeah, we've got some stuff on combining proteins in me, like beans and rice, and nut butters and like wholemeal bread. But this is why quinoa I think one of the reasons why it got populated as such a superfood, because it is a complete protein. It's complete, it has a complete amino acid profile, and I believe peas do as well. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these types of things are really easy to get into your diet. But like you said, they've got to hit that leucine threshold. So it's getting kind of 1 gram. Okay, it's cool, but we want to be maximizing that kind of threshold and hitting that kind of 2.5 to 3 grams, in our meal. One of the products that we love is Wave, the vegan protein, because they actually add leucine into it. So again, you don't have to worry about hitting it. So in that shake, it's automatically going to hit your leucine threshold, which is going to help you to maximize protein synthesis there. So, little things like this, guys, can make a big difference. And then just understanding food pairings and building your proteins there, you're going to be maximizing your protein intake. But often on a plant-based diet, overall protein targets that we set, that people kind of, hit, are a little bit lower than on a meat-based or a fish-based or vegetarian diet. So often people are kind of worried about that, T. So like, what's one thing or one element that actually we don't, maybe contributes to us not having to worry about that?
So if we've got more carbohydrates in our diet from having potentially less protein, and like I said, a lot of plant-based proteins come paired with carbohydrates anyway. We want to talk very quickly about something like protein sparing. So where, if the carbohydrates can kind of do their job, you can then use more of that protein. You've got more of that kind of protein available. So think of protein sparing as the process where the body chooses kind of where to get its energy from other than protein. So, it will use fatty tissue, it will use dietary fats, it will use carbohydrates. So protein sparing then can potentially conserve muscle tissue as well. Yeah.
So basically being efficient at using, the things that are meant to be used for the right, bodily processes. Like protein is a very inefficient energy source. Can be broken down into glucose and be used as energy. However, it's a very inefficient process. It's much easier to get that from, say, carbohydrates or stored glycogen. So, naturally, plant-based diets are a little bit higher in this, and this is, why You can then, like I say, spare protein to allow it to do all these amazing processes such as build muscle and detoxification and gut health and, you know, enzyme production and all of these amazing things, rather than it being used inefficiently for an energy source. And that's why it's so key, even when you're not on a plant-based diet. And if you're training regularly and you're doing these glycolytic exercises, HIIT, spin classes, you know, CrossFit, you know, weightlifting, etc., you know, these types of things, getting your carbohydrate intake adequate is going to help you to build muscle. Okay, no, we don't need to go down the insulin route, but it's going to help you because it spares protein, you know. And that's why, you know, as you know, on a plant-based diet, super important to know that actually, if you are combining your proteins, hitting your leucine threshold, and you're keeping your carbohydrates, you know, intake adequate, you're going to be making sure that you know, allow your body to build muscle and recover efficiently. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need to think that increasing protein, you know, tenfold in the diet leads to kind of a greater protein efficiency, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, more protein potentially is going to be lost. It's going to be a waste. So actually, like say, upping your carbohydrates almost protects that protein, allows you to fuel your training better, recover better, and let protein go do its job.
Yeah, mate, 100%. This is something that we work with a lot of our athletes who start to get to a higher calorie target. You know, what we then need to adjust is your actual macronutrient splits, because you shouldn't just kind of keep going protein and carbohydrates at the same time. As you get to a higher intake, plant-based or non-plant-based, you probably need to cap your protein, you know, at a certain point, because you're going to get more benefit from increasing the carbohydrates the more that you train. Double sessions, competitions, you know, training camps and blocks like this. You know, that actual increase in carbohydrates, as Tom said, allows you to kind of get the, you know, make protein do its job. So really key point there, guys, to kind of take home. Fantastic. We've got loads of stuff on our Instagrams about kind of combining proteins and how to get it from a plant-based diet. So make sure that you're checking that out. You know, go over to Tom's Instagram here, you know, check out, kind of scroll back down the feed. We've got lots of different stuff. And if you are a little bit kind of, you know, lost in terms of where to go, reach out to us. We can definitely guide you in terms of, you know, making the correct choices on a plant-based diet to help you to kind of reach your goals. T, great knowledge as always, buddy. I'll talk to you very soon.